Hi everybody, it's Cindy again from Ideas Times 2. Welcome back to our channel. Today I have what I guess I would call part 4 of my series, making a junk journal cover to cover, front to back, start to finish. And so far we've made the cover, and let's see, the cover was part 1. Here's the cover, and we made this fabric spined cover, hardcover, and part 2 was creating this envelope flip to go on the inside of the back cover, and part 3 was kind of finishing up and making the tags and cards to go on the inside. Since that video, I've also added an envelope flip here to the front cover, and it just put a very simple card on the inside. I may embellish this a little bit more, but I haven't decided yet. So I've also made a ton of ephemera to go inside the pages. But that's kind of where I left it since our last video. Today I thought I would do a tutorial on how to make this cute folder, ephemera folder, to do as an insert into a junk journal. And so this is my exemplar. This doesn't match the theme of the journal that we've been making together, but this is what it is. It has a large pocket here, a side tuck here, and then 2 pockets. And this is the front. And this one hasn't been embellished yet, but if you didn't want to embellish it, you could easily just put another pocket or something on the front for another place to add more ephemera. So this is what we're going to make. Let me move that over to the side. The only thing you need for this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper and glue. So pretty simple. And I've been using paper for this journal from this Hackney & Company gorgeous set paper pad, and this is called the Riverbank, which I've already cut stuff out of, as you can see, to use as embellishments. So my cover is a bit of a mess, but the papers in here are absolutely gorgeous. And I was thinking I would take something from this pack. Aren't these frogs cute? Oh, I just think they're so adorable. And I want to kind of sticking with purples with this journal. It's got a spring theme, but I'm kind of using purples, and I think I'm going to use this beautiful dragonfly paper. So, and that's all you're going to need. Let me grab my paper cutter. I am going to cut this down to 7.5 inches. So I'm just going to take that 3.5 off the bottom. And I'm going to set that aside. We're going to use this to make our pockets and tuck spots. And next thing I need is my scoreboard. And I'm going to score it just on, fold it into thirds. So I'm going to score it on the 4 and the 8. We don't need anything, you know, no fancy math for this project. And you are going, I just dropped my paper cutter. You're going to want to fold the left side up and the right side down. So it's kind of a backward, or kind of an N shape. So this will be your front, and it will open this way, and then we're going to turn this into our large pocket. So for the large pocket, I'm going to flip it this direction. You're going to want to just fold this corner down to the crease. And give that a good burnish. You want that nice and flat, so that when you glue it down or sew it down, that will be your pocket. If you want to, you can cut this off. I'm going to just glue mine down. But I'm going to sew this edge, so I'm not going to get glue too close to that edge. Where I'm going to sew. You can do this as a no-sew project. You don't need to sew, but since I've been sewing pretty much everything else with this project, I like to stay consistent, so I'm going to sew this as well. So before I sew the pocket closed, which I'm going to do, I'm going to sew this edge first. Obviously you can't sew it down, otherwise you won't be able to use it as a pocket. So I'm just going to do a quick zip stitch right here. I usually do a fairly long stitch when I'm sewing paper. I don't like the stitches too close together, otherwise it kind of perforates it and it's very easy to tear. So let me sew this up real fast. So I sewed and I tacked this down and then folded it back over, and then I sewed all the way around the other 3 edges. And if you don't have a sewing machine or you'd prefer not to sew, it's not a problem. Just use your favorite glue. I generally use Fabri-Tac or Fabri-Fix or Beacon 3-in-1, one of the Beacon products. And you know, if you don't want to sew all the way around, that's okay too. I did, as you can see, so there's the stitching on the back. And I don't like when the white core of the paper pokes through when I sew. So I'm just going to use a little bit of ink to age this a little bit. Cover up that white core. All right. So when you get to this stage, you have to decide what you're going to do next, and there's no right or wrong. And so on the exemplar, on the inside, I have a side tuck here, and then 2 kind of medium-sized pockets. And I think I will do the same thing with this one. And so I'm just going to use just the scraps from that one sheet of paper. If you would rather use something else, of course, that's your prerogative. Sorry, when I dropped my paper cutter, it was too far away. So I want the side pocket to be 7.5 inches, so it's the same height as our little folder. And it just needs to be a couple of inches. I don't remember how big this one was. It looks like just 2 inches. So I'm going to put this here, and let's see. I'm going to add a little thumb grab there, And I think I'm going to stitch around the three sides just to have some consistency, but I'm going to stitch it and then glue it down, I think. I don't want to stitch over the top of it on the paper because it will mess up the pocket on the other side. So that'll go there. And then I want to put two pockets here. And so they need to be, the paper, remember, was 4 inches wide, so I need them a little smaller than that. And this is 3.5 inches. I think that's a good size. And they can go on there like that. I just realized this was not the paper I intended to use. But that's okay. I wanted the dragonflies. This is what was supposed to go on here. But I like this one a lot. I just love this paper. I just think it's so pretty. And for both of these, I also want to put little thumb holes on there. I generally, when I have stacked pockets, I usually try to hole punch them at the same time so that they are in the same spot, so they're even. So it'll look like that, and I'm going to sew around these two and then glue them in. And then I do have a little bit left over to do something with, to make a card or bookmark or something on that. And I'm going to sew these before we glue them down. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, as you can see, with this one large side pocket here, and then two smaller pockets to go here. And I'm just going to glue these down with a bead of my Fabri-Tac. Actually, let me trim this thread off. Like I said, if you don't have a sewing machine, or you would prefer not to sew, save yourself some time and money. And or if it's just not your style, don't worry about it, because it doesn't need, obviously, the sewing is nothing but decorative on this. And I just like to be consistent. I sewed the other pocket closed, so sewing this one, I think, kind of keeps it consistent. I'm going to do the same thing with these, and I just sewed, I'm just using a brown thread. I would think I would have preferred purple for this one, but I was almost out of purple thread. I am almost out of purple thread, and I knew I wouldn't have enough to finish this project. Purple is literally one of my least favorite colors. And I don't know why I've been making so many purple projects lately. But I have done enough purple projects that I am almost out of purple thread. I'll put this right down on the bottom, and this one starting about halfway. Try to make sure they're even and centered and not crooked. glue has oozed out. Oops, I just moved that one so it slid. All right. Make sure everything is pressed down well. So that's the basic folder. Pretty simple, simple. A nice big pocket here on the back for a card or a tag. On the inside, the side pocket, and these two small ones. If you want to, you could embellish the front, or you could put another pocket or a side tuck or something on the front that will give you a little bit more room for some ephemera. Cut all these little threads. So the only thing we have left now to do is to fill it. And I have some cards and things already made. So here's a tag. Here's one. I think I like this one better in here. I made this using a paint chip I picked up at the home improvement store. I think that's really cute there. And what else do I have already made up? I think this is, yeah, too big. That's okay. I've made a ton of ephemera, and I think most of it's going to be too big for that pocket. This might fit in there. Perfect. And we need to make something to put there. And do I want a card? I think I want a tag. And obviously this is not going to fit, but I can trim the bottom off. And make kind of a short squat tag. Perfect. Now it just needs a little bit of something added to it. Let's start inking the edges. I always ink the edges first, and I don't know if that was a through trial and error that I ruined something because I didn't ink it early or not, but I always start with inking instead of, and then if I need some more at the end I add more, but I always ink first. All right, move this to the side, and I've got lots of scraps and stuff laying around because I've been working on this project a while. Some paper scraps. Lots of paper scraps. Let's see. Paper from a French entomology book, and since this has dragonflies on it, I think that would be appropriate. Just need a small piece of that. And let's see. I might want to stick with the butterflies. Dragonflies. keep things consistent. And it doesn't need much, that's for sure. It's just such a small tag. I'll ink this one up too, just for consistency. And let's see, what else does it need? Oh, I have to sneeze all of a sudden. I have azalea bushes in front of my house, and they're not blooming yet. But even though I don't have spring allergies, azaleas have so much pollen that even a person without allergies winds up with the sniffles. I honestly don't think I want too much on here on this little tag. The other one is pretty embellished, so I don't want to over embellish everything. This morning, it's a little chilly this morning, but it's a beautiful day. It's supposed to be gorgeous this afternoon, up in the 70s. Perfect, really a perfect spring day. And everybody, and it's a holiday today. Post office bankers holiday, and off from school today myself. And I think everybody else is too, outside, and there's a garage band practicing down the street. Everybody's taking advantage of being outside today, and I will be too shortly. All right, I think this needs some color. Maybe. I think maybe I'll put just a little one of these purpley dragonflies up in the corner. I'm not going to be too fussy about the fussy cut. I'm not a fan of fussy cutting. I have to have a lot of patience. I get bored easily. I have a lot of patience, actually. I just get bored easily. This paper is so pretty. There's so many things you can do with it. It's a craft consortium paper. And Hackney and Company is the designer. She's a British designer. And you can buy her, you can't buy the craft consortium paper and stuff on her from her Etsy shop, but she does have other things like stationery and wrapping paper and greeting cards and things like that. You can get in her Etsy shop. It's Hackney and Company. It's a little big to fit in the corner, but yeah, I didn't think it needed much, just needed a little color. And then I think I'll use purple sari silk or crinkle ribbon to finish it up. Okay. Oops, and then I forgot to ink the whole reinforcer, which is so stark white compared to everything else. Okay, so I think the ribbon is the last thing. I've got some Sari silk, and the color is so pretty. I dyed this a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't have my gloves on when I dyed it, when I went to rinse it out, and I dyed my hands purple for about 3 days. It's such a pretty color, it's definitely worth it. Why is this not pulling through? Okay, simple, simple, simple. Sometimes I think simple is best. That fits perfectly there. So 3 of our pockets are full. This one I think needs something here too. Maybe we'll add a dragonfly to there. Kind of keep with the dragonfly theme on this. On this project. Almost done. I know, watching somebody fussy cut something out is not that exciting. But I thought this card needed something for a while. I just didn't know what I wanted to put on it or how elaborate. And I didn't want it to be elaborate, I just wanted just a little something. In the back I should probably cover with coffee stained paper. Or at least part of it. It's just the paper is so pretty, it's hard to cover up, isn't it? That's the problem with double-sided paper, is that when both sides are pretty, it's hard to make a decision, but I'll wait on that decision. And that goes in here. And then the big pocket on the back. I think these cards are too big. But I'm going to make another, probably a large tag to go in this back pocket, embellish the front just a little bit, and then it will be finished. But that is the basic construction of this little folder, ephemera folder, and I'm going to put it in my journal and just clip it in, and the person I'm giving it to will be able to do what she wants with the ephemera, add it how she wants. But simple project, and all you need is really one piece of paper and whatever scraps you have to make your embellishments or your ephemera. So that's it. Simple, right? So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again for installment number 5, where we'll be finishing up the project because it's pretty much done, and we just need to put it together now. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic day and a great week. So bye-bye, everybody.